Sharp coat, Grandpa, a student jeered, his voice cutting through the hum of conversation in the high school gym. The taunt landed like a sting, sparking a wave of giggles as phones emerged, fingers poised to capture the moment. At the center of the crowd stood a teenage boy, stiff and mute, wearing a weathered olive-green military jacket. Its sleeve patch was worn, tattered by years, softened by time. To most kids, it was a quirky outfit. Some saw it as a jest. But to him, it was holy. A snicker came next. Did you raid your granddad's wardrobe or hit up a secondhand store? Another voice piled on. You look like you're auditioning for a war movie, dude. The laughter swelled, and some kids started filming, aiming their phones toward the stage where a highly decorated U.S. Army general stood, observing from the podium. Amid the crowd's cruelty, she saw something others missed, the insignia sewn on the jacket's arm. She froze, her speech abandoned, her stance rigid, not from fury but from realization. Her gaze fixed on the boy. With measured, deliberate strides, she left the stage. The room hushed. Her heels clicked on the glossy gym floor as students turned, puzzled, murmuring to each other. She approached the boy and, to everyone's shock, saluted him. The room went breathless. Phones dropped. The boy looked stunned, unmoving. She lowered her arm and asked, her voice softer than anyone had ever heard, "Where did you get that jacket?" "It was my father's," the boy answered. "Sergeant James Carter. He wore it during Operation Crestfall." The general stepped back, visibly shaken. Her throat tightened as emotion broke through her iron resolve. She turned to the students. "That patch," she said, gesturing to the boy's sleeve, "belongs to the 203rd Shadow Corps, one of the most elite and overlooked units in modern military history. They ran covert missions deep in enemy lines. No parades, no news coverage, just folded flags." The room was gripped by silence. "Sergeant Carter," she went on, "was my commanding officer. He saved my life in an ambush. Without him, I wouldn't be here. And now his son stands before you, carrying his father's memory, while you ridicule him for it." She turned to the boy, resting a hand gently on his shoulder. "You didn't just honor him today. You showed us all what sacrifice truly means." The boy swallowed hard. "I just didn't want to forget him," he whispered. The general nodded. "You didn't. You made him unforgettable." In the crowd, the same kids who'd laughed now averted their eyes in shame. One girl started crying. The boy who'd thrown the first jab muttered an apology, but the general shot him a piercing look. "You didn't know," she said sharply, "because you never bothered to ask." She faced the audience, her voice rising to reach every student, every teacher, every person clutching a phone. "That jacket isn't just cloth. It's courage, it's loss, it's legacy. You judge worth by logos and fads, but that boy wears something woven with blood, discipline, and honor." Then, in a move no one saw coming, she invited him to the stage, guiding him with pride, letting him stand beside her as she resumed her speech. It wasn't about her medals or victories, but about respect, dignity, and how the quietest person in the room can be the strongest. She closed not with cheers, but with silence, the kind that forces reflection. Then the applause began, slowly. Students stood, one by one, not from obligation, but because they got it. They clapped not for her, but for him, for the jacket, for the man it once belonged to, and for the boy who wore it like a shield. After the assembly, students queued to apologize, to thank him, to ask about his dad. He said little. He didn't need to. The jacket spoke volumes. That day, a gym full of teens who thought they were cool learned what cool really is. Not loud, not flashy, not viral, but faded, quiet, and steadfast. Because honor doesn't seek the spotlight, it earns it. Respect doesn't ride on trends, it grows from humility. And sometimes, the bravest soul in the room is the one being mocked. Before we wrap this tale, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and leave a karma in the comments below.